Hello, sports fans. Welcome to another edition of VetsPlusSports.com. This is your host, Terrell Cool Beans Davis, along with my co-host, Mr. James Miller.
Hello, everyone. How y'all doing this evening? Hope y'all doing well. We'll be having our guests come on here shortly, I'd say. So,
Yeah, I was sitting there looking for him when he show up.
but hope y'all doing well. It's just a little extra this week, getting on live and everything else. But I was hoping to get back on with Blocka. If y'all didn't watch our episode back in, was it August? I think it was.
Was it
And that,
August?
yeah, it was August.
I
It was
think it
before
was
season
August. Yeah.
started. Yeah. Because I predicted and I said I had to correct. I got to bring Blocka back on so I can
Oh
eat
yeah,
my words,
got the
eat my
clip I
words.
sent him.
So um, I said that Arch Manning was probably going to be the top quarterback in the nation this year, and that has not panned out to be. So
Yeah, so far, then like half the season over already, huh?
yep, half the season's about over, and he's thinking it up.
Yeah. Unless
So
he have them last couple of games, it's gonna be stellar. 5 touchdown pass game, 0 picks, 400 yards.
all right, well, while we're waiting on Blocker to get on, let's do some NBA because there's all kinds of news in the NBA right now. They just getting
I
started.
know.
Um, first of all, I don't know if you've seen this. Um, just started one game into the season, and you got players crying already.
Really? I'm missing this.
Davis, baby Davis, or if however you call him, was crying. They got blown out by San Antonio Spurs, and
Wow.
and he said there needs to be a height limit in the NBA.
A height level.
Yeah, so I got to looking, and I'll bring this up. And Wednesday night, I think it was, San Antonio Spurs beat the Dallas Mavericks 125-92. And Anthony Davis scored 22 points and 13 boards. But here's what he was whining and crying about. I don't know how you Wembanyama,
Yeah,
Victor
Wembanyama.
Wembanyama. It's like 7'4".
Yep.
Baby Davis couldn't do nothing with him. He had 40 points, 15 boards, and 3 blocks.
That's because Anthony Davis, honestly, is not a true center.
So
He is, but they got him qualified. They got him like as a 7 footer. He's not a 7 footer. He's like 6'10", 6'11".
but the thing is, he just admitted, man, I couldn't handle him. Don't cry about it. Well, we need to have a height limit.
Yeah.
I've said this before with this generation of athletes, especially in the NBA. I'm most excuse me. I don't think it is bad in the NFL, but the NBA's got a bunch of crybabies. I'm just going to say it right now. They got a bunch of whining crybabies. That's all they do is whine and cry about something. Um, Crying about height, crying about 82 games. Oh, we got to play back-to-back nights and all this other garbage. But yet they want to be considered one of the greats all time compared to the guys from the 80s, 90s, and even the 70s.
Right.
But they're crying about stuff like that. Oh, we need a height limit. You just got schooled. Michael Jordan didn't say I need a height limit. He was just going to go ahead and school you no matter how tall you were.
Exactly. My
So
thing is, what a height limit got to do with it? I mean, like, if anything, he can blame. I wouldn't recommend it, but he could put that loss on the coaching staff and the organization because usually what they do is like, okay, like Anthony Towns is center for New York. Now, if they happen to play, we're going to use the same. They play the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs. Carl Anthony Towns ain't guarding Wembanyama. You're gonna put Ananobley on him. You're gonna put whoever's at that power forward, that four. you're going to put him up there, or you have your backup center. You're not going to have your star player guarding them. And so here's the thing: if Anthony Davis had to spend a lot of time guarding him, they think Anthony Davis ain't their star player.
See, I didn't get to see that game. I seen the comments, so I went to it and brought it up. Now they got spanked in Dallas, 125-92 in Dallas. This ain't at San Antonio. This is in your home court.
Yeah.
So y'all, they just wasn't ready.
There's one thing they told me that was weird about it. They said they started Cooper Flag, and they said, oh, they started Cooper Flag. So I'm thinking he's playing power forward, or him and Anthony Davis switch and he's playing the center. But no, he said Cooper Flag is playing the point guard.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, why are they starting him? You got a big starting at point guard. Because he did all right. He did 10 points in his debut, 10 rebounds. But like I said, I didn't watch it. I just heard about it. But I'm like, as far as I knew, Cooper Flag was a big guy. He's like 6'9", 6'10".
I'll run down some scores from last night. You had the Knicks. Your Knicks beat the Cavaliers 119-111.
Yep.
Mitchell had 31 points on how you say his name? Onaboye.
Oh, and Anunoby.
Anunoby. He had 24 points, 14 boards. The Hornets beat the Nets. Are you ready? Hornets 136-117. The
Magic
Magic
going to be good this year.
Well, they got Mikal Bridges. We'll see. I mean, that's first start, but you gotta look who they beat. They beat the Nets. So we'll just go game by game, just like the Panthers. We're gonna go game by game with them.
All right, yeah.
But you got the Magic beating the Heat 125-121. Then the Hawks got pounded by the Raptors. Well, I guess they did. They may have pulled it late, but Raptors beat the Hawks 138-18, 118. 76ers, get this, beat the Celtics 117-116.
We got to talk about that game when we get a chance, because there was something you just reminded me of, something I was supposed to look up about that game, and I totally forgot about it.
What's that? What game is that?
The Sixers and
Celtics.
They said the Sixers has a rookie on their team, and he played, and they said he scored the most points in a rookie debut since Wilt Chamberlain. Okay, so I meant to look it up, and I totally forgot.
What's his name?
I totally forgot.
Well, you had Maxey scored 40 points for the 76ers. Now, if this guy right here, VJ Edgecumbe, or I don't know how you say his name, he's got 34 points.
That's the rookie.
34 points.
Oh, I thought it was going to be something super spectacular.
But
it said Wilt Chamberlain. I was like, ooh.
That's the only one else because Maxey had 40, he had 34, and then the other one, you got two people with 10 points, 6, 13, and 4, and that's it. But you got to remember, Boston's still without.
They still don't have Tatum. They got rid of they let Horford go.
Yep.
I think really they're going to rebuild year. They only got like Derek White and Jaylen Brown, really.
The Bulls beat the Pistons 115-111. You had the Grizzlies over the Pelicans 128-122. The Bucks over the Wizards 133-120. The Jazz beat the Clippers 129-108. And I done mentioned the Spurs over the Mavericks 125-92. The Suns beat the Kings 120-116. The Timberwolves over the Trailblazers 118-114. And the first night to kick it off, the Warriors beat the Lakers. I think it was. I know that was Friday night, I think. And then tonight, you got a couple games going on. Right now, in the third, you got the Thunder over the Pacers right now, 57-50. And then you got the Nuggets and the Warriors going at it later tonight at 10. So as soon as this podcast is finishing up, they're going to be kicking it off. But that's the games going on right now. That's the scores. But the big news in the NBA right now, making the big splash, is the
Oh, Blocker's
gambling.
here.
There
What's
he is.
going on,
Hey,
Blocker?
Blocker.
Hello, hello. How are y'all?
Doing
Doing
good.
great.
Good, man. The timing was almost perfect for me to get the opportunity to get in here, so I'm happy to get on, man. We definitely had. I was talking with Beans last time. We had a blast on our pod, so definitely happy to get to join you guys.
Yeah, it's good. I'm glad you got. I told Beans I had to get you on there because I had to eat some of my words I said on the first one. So I said, wait. I said we gotta get Blocker. I said, I said I'll own up to it. I'll eat my words, and that was about Arch Manning being the best quarterback in the nation.
Listen,
So,
I was well. Here's the deal. I was right there with you. I was
Mhm.
talking with some of the guys. We were talking about it right after our show. We were talking about it in men's ministry, and then Ohio State played Texas. And to be fair, Ohio State has an outstanding defense. So
They do.
I won't hold that against them. But it's just with that last name and all the hype we got, we expected a little bit better than what we've been seeing from him so far, and now it all makes sense why he was quickly he shunned the idea of going in the draft this year.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I mean, even last year, I mean, he done good the games he did play last year. So you had that little bit you got to see. So you said, well, this year, I mean, he's going to explode or he's going to do good and blossom, and but he hasn't, I guess, met that expectations of some people.
Well, I think, and part of the issue is, everyone asked why Quinn Ewers was starting over Arch Manning last year, and I don't know that that's necessarily the best barometer, but I think what the issue is that when I think about Arch Manning, one thing after doing a little bit of studying, even before the season started, I felt like he wasn't gonna look like your typical Manning that dissects a defense, sits in the pocket, and breaks down your defense. This guy is an athlete. His daddy was an athlete. His daddy was a wide receiver.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
he's much more athletic. He's a prototypical quarterback in today's game. For what it's worth, Eli was the younger of the two quarterbacks, and he came out of college in 2003. So we're not talking about the game has changed in the last 20 years significantly.
It has. It has.
And so, but I think they're trying to use Arch like they would Peyton or Eli, and that's not his game. I think he's the mobile spread option kind of guy, and then he surprised. He beats you by running first, and then he sucks that defense in and then beats him over the top with his arm. So
Right, he plays more like a.
Yeah, Michael Vick. I thought of Tim Tebow immediately.
Tim Tebow.
Watching the way. Because after those two starts he had last year, and then Ewers came back, they still were kind of switching him in like Tebow was doing with Chris Martin. Is it the quarterback from Chris Leak, the quarterback from Florida that the year they won the ring? And then Tebow kind of came in, and Tebow was never just your dissect your defense kind of guy. He was a spread option guy.
Yeah, he was.
And I think that. I think that Arch will best be served that way. Look, I might get cut off. I'm gonna try to add my socials to stream this. So I don't know. It asked me to leave the stream or the website. So if I pop out, then I'm just spreading my socials. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Cool Beans, yeah. Because every now and then your sound will pop out. I've noticed. I don't know if that was just on my end. I don't know if. Oh, there he goes.
He'll be back.
He went to social media kicked him. Well, when he comes back on, I'll put him back up. But we was about on the NBA news.
Yeah, they're in the NBA talking. We'll wait for Blocker to get back on here.
Okay.
The biggest news for the NBA coming out was the gambling that was been going on, and everything. There he is.
All right, I think we're back.
All right.
All right, okay. But yeah, very, very, very excited to be on here, and I think it's really, really cool that look, this is what we get to do this for, is to have those, to have these connections and get the opportunity to talk and chat, and I'll come on your show. You come on mine. I love getting to do this.
We
Cool
got
beans.
But before you got on, Blanca, we was talking about in the NBA, went over some scores, and then the news that has been breaking the last day or so in the NBA with the gambling it's been going on with players and everything. It's just
so. Do you have like kind of the full breakdown of what the charges were as far as folks getting arrested?
no. Now I do know. I think it was I can't think of his name now. It wasn't Billups, but the other one,
Terry Rozier.
Yeah. He had a group
Terry.
of guys. He had a group of guys that I guess collected $200,000 for him leaving the game. They chose the under, so it was kind of like a setup ordeal for his buddies to make money with him. So he faked an injury to go out. So his buddies or whoever was in that group, they ended up collecting $200,000 on every betting app they was on. And then Chauncey Billups is supposed to, I ain't heard on his what has happened. And another one that's kind of a little bit surprised me a little bit is LeBron James. His name is floating out there right now too as well, but hasn't heard too much on his yet. So
here's the thing that really
gets so I was confused about that also.
I really hate this for Chauncey Billups. Because Chauncey was like, he barely made it in the coaching. He had that sexual assault scandal, and he barely made it under the coaching, and now this really going to take him out.
Yeah, and it's already got a bad team, so am I showing up? I am, okay.
Yeah, you're on here.
Yeah, you're up.
But you're right.
Okay, all right, good. I'm trying to pop in here. It's a bad team. That's last thing you want is to have is to now have all these scandals, and he's. I mean, I hope because I like Chauncey Billups, but it doesn't look good.
I do
too.
tell
you that it does not look good for him. Yeah, and you know what's so interesting about all of this is these guys are. It's not like they're making the kind of dollars we're making, right? I'm counting my hours and. Waiting every 2 weeks for my check, and it ain't what these kids are making. What are we gambling on that's going on that's so important that you gotta put your job and your livelihood at risk for what? I mean, are we that bad? Hard up? I mean, that's a lot of $200,000 is nothing compared to it. Rozier, I think, signed a deal for 3 years that was nearly $20 million. What is this extra $200,000 going to do for me?
Yeah, I mean, he could have handed his buddies that money.
I mean, and it would have been more legal than faking an injury to do whatever. And now he's fighting for his career. And again, if I'm not mistaken, Scary Terry is in Miami, and he wasn't a starter. He's not an all-star. This isn't. It's ironic they bring up LeBron. I know there was some talk about LeBron being able to them knowing insider knowledge of when he was and wasn't going to play or things of that nature. What's the point of all of this? That's where I'm confused about is what exactly are we getting out of him doing this? It just didn't make it. It's not adding up to me.
Yeah, it's chump change. That 200,000. Yeah, it's like it's splendid for us, but I mean for them that's chump change.
Yeah,
they get that money for just sitting on the bench.
I was trying to bring up Chauncey his what he's making, but it's not. I think I see.
As a coach, he's. I don't know.
Shows like 4.7 mil. I don't know if that's a year or I'm trying to bring it up.
Most likely it's per year.
Well,
but
him as the coach.
Well, even if it is his total contract, you got to think how he played 12 years and won a ring and was an all-star.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's got more than that amount of money in his pocket. So
exactly,
the guy says, "What are we doing here?" And don't get me wrong, I'm a gambler. So for me, I think I'm a big fan. I love to gamble. I like being right more than I like being. sometimes it's not even about the number of dollars I make. It's just that I appreciate being happy and right.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Even with that, why are we still, those guys? I don't know.
And the thing with me with even LeBron's name surfacing, look at the money he's made. I mean, it's like
he's a billionaire.
I mean, dude, what are you doing? Yeah.
Yeah, for a couple extra thousand. I mean, like that, it doesn't make sense. Why would you risk all you got for a few thousand?
But on the court though, I was talking with my brother about this before I went. We had choir rehearsals where I came from, and so man, we were talking about Victor Wembanyama, the freak of nature center for the Spurs. As soon as I saw a bunch of highlights that I thought were pretty cool, because he's so big, I don't ever get as impressed by like some of the dunks he does. I think it doesn't register to me because he can hold his hand up without jumping and pretty much dunk. But
exactly, he doesn't even jump.
You
don't need to.
The one thing that impressed me the most was he hit the dream shake. He got I think it was Anthony Davis or somebody in the post, post, turns his back, gives him the Hakeem dream, and turns and hits a fadeaway. This dude, and I should remind you, he's 7'5" and 230 pounds. And what was even crazier was some of his dribbling skills. He was doing some stuff that we see guards do. This is a different level of impressive.
Well,
really something.
I don't know if you've seen it, and I didn't look it up to see if it's true. Anthony Davis was complaining, saying there needs to be a height limit in the NBA.
What's interesting about that, if that is true, is that Anthony Davis was 6'3" like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And then he sprouted up before his senior season to 6'8" or 6'9", and then finally settled in at 6'10". So if anybody's going to complain about height and like of all people who get to grow 7 inches after 17 don't get to complain about any height.
No, that's it. I agree.
And then two, he's for Euroball. Euroball, they don't do all that dunk. They learn to shoot. They learn to shoot some threes and everything. That's what they do over there in Europe. So the fact that he can shoot and hit the fadeaway, that's because it goes back with his European roots.
Yeah, and it's unreal to watch this guy handle the rock. And not just like, look, man, I'm not talking just dribbling, maybe dribble between your legs. This guy's doing like all the fancy dancy Instagram moves, the cross tween, behind the back, like that amount of size handling the ball.
Yeah, it is. Now,
so I actually just finished about 2 hours ago. Actually, I want to say Beans was messaging me while we were doing our WNBA review.
Okay.
So,
my light's about to go out. Hold up. Let me get the motion sensor.
So look, so shout out to our friend James. We got a really cool thing that we do. One of our partners does something really cool. Her name is Kai. And she's with the Game Chasers out in Phoenix. So if you guys were ever going to go to Phoenix, it's kind of cool. I can see my mic's loudness. I appreciate that. So let me know when my mic is being weird. So Kai is with the Game Chasers out in Phoenix. She's a sports concierge. So here's what she does. Let's say you're going to Phoenix for anything. Cardinals game, Suns game. She was just at the Mercury. Both of the games, they had games 3 and 4, their finals in the WNBA. She was sitting courtside for both of those games. She's got like really, really cool connections and the ability to create these awesome sports experiences. And so we were working with her, and I don't know if you guys got to see some of the content that I was putting out for the finals. But I really got to learn a lot about the Phoenix Mercury. Now I'm an Aces fan, so naturally I was very in the back winning. But man, look, one thing like I learned about is the Mercury's got a core 3 they're going to be dynamic. They got a girl who's 6'7" and 245 pounds. And Kalani Brown, they got her in a trade with Thomas, and then they also signed Satu Sabali. The Mercury have got a squad. Phoenix,
Yeah, they do.
Phoenix is they got just a ton of talent and a great coach. But they're one of probably 5 teams that I think next year are going to compete for a championship. So I'll start here asking this question. Have you guys been keeping up with Kathy Engelbert, the commissioner of the WNBA, and some of the fusses, some of the complaints that have been made by the WNBA for against her as the commissioner of the league?
I didn't hear that clearly because you broke up.
Oh, okay.
You about, with Kathy Engelbert, how
Yes.
she is the commissioner?
Yes,
I
and
think
so
she is the problem. I don't think she is the solution. I think she is more of the problem. With her still being in up in management, I think there will be a lockout.
it's what it looks like. I saw something the other day that said that they offered her the offer that they put on the table for the ladies is like $800,000 as a max contract. That's just it's unreal that the NBA. I want to say Ryan Hollins signed a 2-year, $40 million deal, right?
Right.
If you don't know who Ryan Hollins is, then you're proving my point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The 12th man on the worst team is making triple what our top players in the WNBA are making. And something's got to be done. That's what I can come up with.
True. I agree, and
Okay.
to an extent, I disagree.
All
I
right.
think they need more than 800,000.
Absolutely.
But maybe if they capped it about like 2-3 mil, I'm okay with that. But them getting like them 40 million contracts, 10 million, they don't do what the men do.
That's true.
When they do what the men do, yeah, you can make what the men make. But
And they're playing.
men play
they
82, you only playing
Yeah.
44. That's about half. You're
Right.
doing half about what they do. You're scoring when you look at the score here. In fact, we can just go from the minutes. Each quarter in the NBA is 12 minutes. WNBA is 10 minutes. You ain't even playing the right amount of minutes.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give you that.
I think too, you get the fan base. It's so big gap. I think, which I agree. I think I'm with you and Beans as far as they need to make some more money. Now, how's it going to go? Is it going to be revenue from coming in? Which what are they bringing in from these games too?
Right? Because one thing that's totally not fair is they don't get any money from their jersey sales. Nothing from jersey. Oh, yeah. Oh, you didn't know? Yeah. I found out just going through the grapevine, looked it up on Google. They don't get anything from jersey sales. So you think about all them Caitlin Clark jerseys that sold out. The Fever got that money. Caitlin got zero on them jersey sales.
What was it? You looked it up. I think football gets the most as far as players getting their
Football
sales.
gets the most. NBA, they don't even get this. You have to reach a cap level. You reach a certain number. Once it's over, anything over that amount,
then it's like 30%, ain't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you get like 30%.
So
that's over the amount.
So like the NBA's, to me, the NBA's robbing. I think the NFL was they around 60%?
Yeah,
like
NFL was 60.
So
they paid the best.
And the women were getting robbed on their jersey sales. But even in the NBA, I think that's robbery. I mean, yeah, they're buying it for that team, but the name on that back of that jersey. That's
right.
Exactly.
That's what sells the jersey, the back of the jersey.
Yeah.
I mean, like this is I think about it from a standpoint of wrestling, right? I'm a big wrestling fan. So in wrestling, that's how a lot of the wrestlers make their money is their merchandise.
Yeah.
So if you're not buying my merchandise, they'll get paid for coming to the event. But the most of it's going to come from their merchandise sales, and that's how you get popular. You get the kids to love you or hate you, and you sell their merchandise. That's how it comes about. So it's to think that the players aren't getting. I understand if they don't get 100%. I can understand if they don't get 100%, but if they're only getting, if they're getting nothing.
Yeah, they get nothing in the women's.
Oh,
That's the robbery part. They
It's
get
right here. I got
nothing
it
in the
brought-
women's.
I got it brought up right now. It says the players do not receive a direct cut of jersey sales. Instead, the Women's National Basketball Players Association takes 50% cut of all jersey sales league wide, and this amount is in the distribution equally among the league's players. So they're putting it in a big pot.
Yeah, it's part of the market share. The share that they only get 9.3%, but the player don't directly get anything. Aja Wilson don't get nothing for her jerseys.
That is, I mean, that's crazy.
So when they wear the shirts at All-Star Weekend saying, "Pay us what you owe us,"
Yeah.
For those who didn't know, this is what they mean.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
And I'll take it a step further. So the WNBA was relatively just created by a lot of folks in the NBA. And one of the things that I felt like the NBA failed, and where a lot of leadership and along the way also failed, was because they look when the WNBA started 25 years ago, the NBA was hitting its 50th year. So you got 50 years of knowledge. And as a matter of fact, when the WNBA started, the NBA was in the middle of its greatest run because they had Michael Jordan and the Bulls, being who they were. I'm of the mindset that the leadership needed to be holding hands with the NBA, saying, "Hey, here's what we've done. Here's what we've learned. Here's how we got better." We shouldn't have to wait 25 years to get that same level of respect and generating the same level of excitement, because the NBA just did it for 50 years. So it shouldn't take that long to get back in that mode of doing that for the WNBA. They should be catching up and leveling up with the NBA, because the NBA's got 25 years of knowledge or 50 extra years of experience on them. So, and to me, that's another pay me what you owe me moment. We're not. It shouldn't be something the NBA's leadership should be going to, or the NBA's marketing team should be going to the WNBA saying, and to the TV markets, and saying, hey, here's how we're going to get this. Here's how we're going to do. You know what I mean? So there's been terrible leadership throughout for a long time. And Kathy Engelbert seems to be the culmination of poor leadership over and over again. And then some of the wording that Napheesa Collier mentioned, and I don't know if it's true or not, but it's definitely if it is, it's horrible to say things like that.
Right. I don't know if it's true or not either, but she has the look of that type of arrogance. I think it is. She fits the bill.
Well, and you know what? Well, to kind of, there hasn't been any remorse. So she's not even budging on, or saying, "Oh, well, no, that's not what I meant, and that's not what we said, and I'm so sorry." Even if you didn't say it or you didn't mean it that way, sometimes just backing off your posture, and this is a life lesson, outside of sports, the ability to back off your posture and say, "Hey, I'm sorry that you felt that way about it. I didn't mean for you to feel that way about it. Even if I didn't mean it that way, if you take it that way, I apologize still." So there's no remorse. There's no, sorry or any kind of care. It just seems like she's fine with looking like a villain. And what's so crazy about it all is we're talking about the most popular player in your league. And I'll admit, I think that Caitlin Clark is a great basketball player, but she's getting a lot. They're trying to give her the crown before she's even, before it's due, before she's done anything yet.
Yeah.
But what I'll say that you can't alienate in a league where aesthetics is the key to this thing. You can't alienate your most popular player. You just can't.
Right.
It's
No.
been a bad look. And then this looming lockout that makes it even worse. I hope that they get things figured out, and I don't know if it's going to include Kathy Engelbert, but I hope they get it figured out.
I got a question for you, Blocker. If they do walk out, the new fan base that they've got because of Caitlin Clark, do you think they'll walk?
I think they would carry Caitlin Clark out. I think they would literally pick her up and put her on their shoulders and carry her out. And that's the thing. And I'm glad Nafisa Collier, brought this to the light right before the CBA comes back in play. Because Caitlin Clark's fan base, make no mistake about it, Caitlin Clark's fan base is the reason why the WNBA is moving to the heights it's moved to thus far, and she'll be part of the reason. Their fan base will be part of the reason that they'll go to the heights they'll go to going forward. If they don't do what they need to do to make sure that, if nothing else, Caitlin Clark's fan base is taken care of, this league will crumble.
Yeah, I think so too.
And that's really what it boils down to, is that we need to, as much as I hate to say it, because again, her fan base is the reason why I'm not a big fan of her. Like I said, they're crowning her as the GOAT, and it's just her second season, and she didn't even play most of this season. Which that's another kind of sad topic as well. I don't know if you guys have followed the Fever. There's been a lot of to do about Kelsey Mitchell and some of the cryptic posts she's made, and it seems like it's trending as if she's going to be leaving the Fever, which would be awful, because I mean that's another team
that's her points. That was their scorer this year. That's who scored the majority of their points.
And you wonder if there's any ego involved. Kelsey Mitchell was the star of the team before Caitlin Clark got there, and Caitlin Clark is obviously, like I said, her fan base is nothing else. Has taken over the entirety of that team. But we wouldn't. I can tell you with great certainty, I wouldn't really know who Kelsey Mitchell was if it wasn't for Caitlin Clark. So
yeah.
There's a lot to do about it, and so I wonder. I hope she makes the right decision as well. They got a chance to win the race. They came
close. They came close without.
They came seconds.
Yes,
seconds away from making it to the finals without Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
So you can expect that team to be uber dangerous when Caitlin Clark comes back healthy. So I wouldn't jump off that train just yet if I was Kelsey Mitchell.
See, when she got hurt, Caitlin Clark got hurt. I told Beans when I heard it was a groin.
Yeah.
I said that's not good. That a groin injury lingers, and that's not a good injury to have.
Oh man.
And it lingered the whole season.
Yeah, that soft tissue one.
Yeah. I pulled my groin in my sophomore year in high school, and it finally stopped hurting about my junior year.
Yeah.
That thing it just stuck in there forever, and but no, I hope that she's good. Caitlin Clark is good for the league, and to tie it all back in, Kathy Engelbert, it'd be best if she wised up and kind of gave in and softened her stance. I mean, what could happen is she could just lose her job. That's what it really would boil down to.
Oh yeah.
I think it's too late for that. I think she just has to resign. They have to move on from her.
I've got a video. I haven't played it just yet, but I've got a video. Like I said, my friend Kai sent me the video of her announcing the championship, which it was already bad. They won in Phoenix, so it was already kind of but there was enough Aces fans to make it worth the cheering. But then when Kathy Engelbert got the mic, dude, they rained boos from heaven. she was tough and got through it, but it looked like she was about to cry, man.
Kind of like Roger Goodell on
Yeah.
Jack White.
Yeah, it was, but he handled it usually pretty well.
Yeah.
They've been booing him for
Years. He expects it. He's looking for it when he comes out. He'd probably be surprised if they didn't.
Yeah, they will. I can see that. I can very much. I'd be surprised if they didn't. That's for sure. So, speaking of Goodell, I know we were going to talk a little bit of football. Is there? And right now, I believe who's playing tonight? It's the
Rams. Not Rams.
the Chargers
And the Vikings.
and the Vikings. Okay, all right. Do you guys? How are your fantasy teams looking right
My fantasy is horrible.
now? Oh,
Mine's doing pretty good.
okay. So I am. You guys know we're hosting our fantasy league with our podcast, and I am in second place. I also have scored the most points,
Oh man.
but I didn't think Rico Dowdle was gonna blow up like that 2 weeks in a row. That was absurd.
I didn't either.
That was.
That. Do you guys have any early season like shockers, players that or any stories that have surprised you though so far this season?
I will say this. I before the season started, I mentioned two players I thought was being overlooked, and it was Williams for the Cowboys, the running back, and Dobbins for Denver. I thought those two were being overlooked, which they're doing pretty decent.
Yeah.
I mean, because Dallas, that was all they had was Williams pretty much behind the backfield. So, and he done good in Denver. So I thought he'd do well in Dallas, and he's doing that.
I was really shocked they let Williams walk. I thought he was a very serviceable and there wasn't any splash with him. I'll admit that, but I mean he did his job every play. I mean, every game I remember 70. I picked him up in a fantasy league. It's the only reason I kind of knew so much about him. But I mean, he's 75 yards a game, give or take. He's good for a touchdown, or he was great in pass protection. To me, it just felt like he was good enough. I don't know why they let him walk, but I was excited to see what he would do in Dallas as well.
Yeah.
Dobbins, however, that's a name that definitely surprised me because he's not been healthy for very long.
No, he hasn't.
And while he was in Baltimore, he couldn't complete a season. So I was a little shocked to see that I knew if he could stay healthy, he could be good, but he hadn't been healthy. So it's good to see him healthy.
It is. I tell you, as far as team wise go, two shockers for me. They're both coming out of the AFC. One is the Ravens.
Yeah.
And then two, I thought the Raiders would do better than what they're doing.
I didn't.
So you know what? The Raiders. I've got a couple friends that are Raiders fans. And shout out to the Sportsman. This guy is on Instagram. He's got big numbers, and he does a lot of really truthful commentary on the Raiders. And so one of the things that I was concerned about with the Raiders is Chip Kelly. His pro career his pro track record is bad. He's great in college, Chip Kelly, but he doesn't call very well. He doesn't, and we're seeing it again this year. He's not making any effort to use Brock Bowers or Ashton Jonty in ways that would make them most successful. And it's leaving it in the hands of Geno Smith, the quarterback, and there's not much to show for it. And if you take away those two guys, offensively, there's not much there.
No, there ain't.
And their defense is already needing a little extra help. So offense has got to pull its weight. I was worried about that to start, and it's been just as bad the whole way through. So, but I'll tell you, my shocker is the Colts.
Yeah.
That's if you would have told me they were this good, I would have assumed that Anthony Richardson took a really big leap. And I definitely wouldn't have assumed when they named Daniel Jones the starter that this guy was going to be this dangerous.
I was curious.
Exactly.
I was curious to see how he was going to do because in New York he didn't have a line.
Yeah.
So if you put him behind a line, how's he going to do? And well,
apparently
doing pretty good.
Apparently pretty good. The more I think about it, Saquon had a great run when he left New York. Now Daniel Jones is having a great run after he's left New York. I'm starting to think the problem is.
Yep.
What do you think about the Dart start for New York?
So again, surprise of the year for me, from the rookies, is these two guys, Dart and Scatterbo. I knew that Scatterbo was a good running back. I didn't think he had enough wiggle to be effective in the league.
Me either. I didn't.
And to be fair, he doesn't. But apparently, that's not necessary. This guy is all physicality, and it's scary.
Yeah.
But then Dart is perfect for what Brian Dable wants. He wants a smart mobile quarterback who's going to protect the ball and make Tomlin plays, and that's exactly what they got. It's a shame that Malik Neighbors went down because I think if you add Malik Neighbors on top of that receiving core, that's a complete team. I knew their defense was going to be scary. And look, man, I said it earlier today talking with one of our guests today. Our guest today was from New York. He does all New York content. And shout out Gabe Zoda from at the Play BK on Instagram, the Playbook. This guy, I said it. I think in 2 years, the Giants. You guys are familiar with the NFC East curse, right? Where no team repeats as NFC crown.
Yep.
They haven't done that in like 20, 25 years.
Yep.
I think the Giants are going to break that curse. That's my hot take.
Now, let me tell you what. Cool Beans don't like to hear that being a Cowboys fan.
I think with this Giants team, won't be this year, may not even be next year, but I think you give them 2 years, and we're looking at a scary team. They got the most dangerous, potentially the most dangerous defensive line in the league with Burns and Carter and Thibodeau, and of course big sexy Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah.
That's a big lump mountain of a man.
That is.
And they got good linebackers behind them, and so they got sneaky good defensive backs, not splash guys, but with a front seven that good, you can't help but have a good your D-backs can't help but play relatively well. So I think that's what we're going to see is, and then on the other side with Dart and Neighbors and Scatterboo seems to be a scary combination. So the future's bright for the Giants. And you don't have to worry. All of the NFC East is in trouble if they can put it all together.
Oh, yeah. Because like right now, it's like the Eagles. That secondary of that defense it's not where it was last year.
Yeah.
So I mean, teams can throw on that defense.
It's amazing. And you know what? Look, and the wild thing about the Eagles is they haven't like really lost any. The only players they lost, it seemed like they were easily replaced. Like Josh Sweat and Milton Williams and those guys. But these young boys, I don't know if they fully understand. Because last year seemed like such an easy ride.
Yeah.
For just as an outsider looking in. Obviously, you got to put the work in every day. But as an outsider looking in, last year looked like an easy ride. And so I think these young boys thought they were going to walk in those spots and just win by default. And
that offense last year was so explosive, and it ain't been like that this year. That may be a little tilt too as well.
It was a complete team last year, the most complete team last year.
It was.
They're not using Barkley like they supposed to. Yeah. Barkley, I don't think he had in what they played 7 games now. I don't think he had 100 yards yet. Or he might have one out of all those games. He might have one.
No, I think you're right. I don't know that he's had 100 yards yet.
There was one game he only touched the ball 6 times. He's your main guy.
That first loss, and then on the next loss, right back to back, they went 10. He touched the ball 10 times.
and six of those was in the first quarter.
Yeah,
I was like, "What are y'all doing? That's your main guy. Feed him."
Yeah, 16 carries for Saquon Barkley should be a half, not 2
That's it. That's it. Exactly.
So, but yeah, I've been so one of the things we did our season preview, and one of the things that my question was is who's going to come out of the NFC, and I can tell you with great certainty right now I have no clue.
It's wide open in the NFC. I think. I
if
mean,
you can
Yeah, I think
name
it
eight,
is.
you can name 8 teams, and I don't know that any of those 8 teams would be a wrong guess. You could put money on any of them, and it would be a fair guess. I like the Rams. That's
my
who
Rams. Yeah, I was going to say the Rams. There, that'd be my pick right now. Would be the Rams.
they've got the best, probably the best defense in the NFC. And they got the best, the smartest quarterback of the bunch too.
Right. And when
They
the
do,
Poker
they
come
do.
back,
Yeah, and even without Puka, that's opened up the door for Devontae Adams to play more. So
Yeah.
they're really, really a dangerous team.
And look at the 49ers. They're still winning with injuries and hurt players out. I'm like, how y'all doing that?
they lose a starter. They literally lost the starter every game of the season, and they're still what are they like 4-2 or something?
4-2, yeah, 4-2,
Yeah.
5-2, or something like that.
Just amazing. And that just speaks to Kyle Shanahan's offense. It works literally with anybody.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And you know what? Like he got. That was a question I was going to ask. Probably the other shocker for me is the AFC East. And I'll start with Miami. The Dolphins have just been egregious. I for the life of me can't understand it. 2 years ago, Mike McDaniel was the most dominant play caller in the league, and he was using Kyle Shanahan's offense. I don't know why the wheels are falling off. I don't know if it's because of Tua or it seems.
I say part Tua.
Okay.
Yeah, I do too. I agree. I think it's Tua. Even though I like the guy, I like Tua. I think they need to move on from him.
Yeah.
One thing I thought about, and they just moved Quinn Ewers up to the number 2 spot as the backup over Zach Wilson. And Quinn Ewers actually looked really, really good in the preseason. He was very efficient. Quinn Ewers is a Drew Brees kind of guy. Like it's touchdown or check down with him.
Yeah.
He's not going to take a lot of a lot of risk. But in that offense, you're reading that offense and setting it up with the run game, and then you get the play action over the top. That's perfect. That's the perfect kind of candidate for their offense is a non-risk taker like Quinn Ewers. So I'm really shocked to see that they're hanging on with Tua. I guess it's because they paid Tua so much money. Maybe that may be why.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, I heard them talking about that. They said Miami just needs to go ahead and cut their loss with that.
Yeah,
Go ahead and cut
agree.
it and go and move on.
I would agree. I also staying in the AFC East. I'm also really shocked that I'm not shocked that the Patriots are this good, but I'm more shocked that the Bills
Bills are not where they were.
Yeah.
Right. That's been we've known that the Bills defense was vulnerable, and that a lot of this was resting on Josh Allen's back. But we've just seen Josh Allen overcome so often that it's really, really shocking that he's not letting it carry. He's not carrying. He normally carries, and so that's been the shocking thing for me. But I, in the AFC East, I could see a place where the Patriots could win the division. And
That's what. Yeah, we talked about that. Providing the injury bug don't hit them, I think they're going to win that division.
Yeah, that's real. And Mike Vrabel is a great coach. Also, I think as a segue, Mike Vrabel, since he left Tennessee, I want to say Tennessee's won 10 games in the 2 years since Mike Vrabel's been gone. If 2 games, it's absurd. They're like 15-41 or something.
Yeah,
They are a mess, and they just fired their GM. They just fired their head coach, and I think that firing of the head coach was so the GM could save his job.
Yep.
And so we're looking at. I couldn't understand why they let Vrabel walk, but it clearly was a mistake. It's working.
It was. That just goes to show they messed up. Kind of like the Browns messing up, letting Baker go.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. I
Here's the
say
thing. If the Dolphins let go of Tua, the Browns may pick him up.
they got every other quarterback in the league. The GM of the Browns right now is playing like that last place fantasy guy. You got no chance at winning, so you just start picking people up to keep other people from getting the best players, and then maybe you can kind of. I think that's what this guy is doing.
And they still won't give Sanders any reps behind Gabriel. I have no idea with that. Do you not want to win? I mean, come on.
Well, look, the owner said himself he didn't want Shedeur.
Yeah, I know.
So I don't I don't think they want to win. That's what it seems like to me.
Here's the thing. They could have got rid of him because the Browns asked to trade for him. I mean, not the Browns, the Bengals wanted to trade for him and they wouldn't trade him. And they traded Flacco.
The level of frustration that Mike Tomlin showed when asked about
that trade.
The Browns to the Bengals. And you saw the frustration because so first of all, I'm a Steelers fan. We struggle with Flacco. We have for the 20 years he's been in the league. But more than that, going to his ability, his know-how with a T. Higgins and a Jamar Chase, and that allotment of skills players, that's almost unfair.
It is.
I don't like the to make excuses for losing, but a smart quarterback knows what to do, and Joe Flacco is nothing. If he's not anything else, he's super smart. And so very impressed. To be honest, I was impressed with what he did, but I hated it had to be us. So
that's it. Hey, here's another team I'm gonna mention. Going back to the NFC.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Seahawks? Doing as good as they are after trading their key players, they're 5-2.
So the Seahawks, and they just picked up another pass rusher, Oweh, who they picked him up from Baltimore. They are their defense is dangerous. Which again, speaking of talking about the Browns, the Panthers aren't getting enough heat for having both Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield on their roster, 3 years ago?
Yep.
And these are two of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now. But Sam Darnold has continued what he's doing with what he was doing with the Vikings. And when you've got a playmaker at quarterback like that, it makes your whole offense and your defense walk out with a level of confidence that can't be matched.
Well, if you look at the Panthers there, they had Darnold, Baker, and McCaffrey, and they all let them all three go.
Yeah.
and they had Brian Burns too.
Yeah.
And they traded Brian Burns for, I want to say, a 5th-round pick and a washing machine, man. And Brian Burns is in New York under the big lights playing big-time football. And their defense, which I'll be fair, their defense this year has looked better. But for a while, last year their defense looked like paper mache. And
them Panthers are on a 4-game winning streak.
it's something to. Well, and look, I don't know if it's gonna last, but Bryce Young finally kind of found his way. And Bryce Young has looked really, really good. And I'm happy to see it. I like Bryce Young, especially after how well C.J. Stroud looked his rookie season. And C.J. Stroud has not looked like himself the last 2 years. But again, we just talked about it with Daniel Jones. There's no line. Their offensive line is very young and inexperienced, and to be frank, not very good. And it shows. It shows. No, there's been the NFL this year has been wide open. This is my second season watching the NFL as a journalist of sorts. And it's been really fun to see this parity. It's been really fun to watch the league, just the ups and downs and the throws. And I don't know who it is. Look, it could be the Chiefs. It could be anybody, right? There's most years it's the Chiefs versus the field in the AFC. And you expect the Baltimore to contend. You expect Buffalo to contend. I don't know who's going to win either conference this year. I haven't the slightest clue. I don't know. It could be the London Silly Nannies. I have no clue who's going to win because 1 week, even the team with the best record, which I believe is the Colts this year. The Colts and the Eagles have the best records in the league, and I mean they've been, both of those teams have been embarrassed at times.
Right. But somebody's tied with the Colts. I can't remember. Somebody
Well,
else.
the only one the Colts are 6-1.
Yeah.
And somebody else is 61.
Well, you got the Packers at 4-1. So that's the only two teams that's got one losses.
Oh.
By the way, Beans, thank you. Send something over to Jerry. Thank you for tying the Packers. I definitely just bring them down a notch. I'm not on my show, and so my Packers friends won't see this till tomorrow. So bring them down a notch.
Hey, I think that was the first exciting Thursday night game. Was that one there?
And it's been, like I said, even if a lot of people have written the Cowboys off, especially after trading Michael Parsons, and for them to go and not just tie the Packers 17-17, 40-40, or something like, well, right? It was like
40-40.
Yeah, it was 80 points scored in that game. That's amazing. So, definitely excited about what I'm seeing. And I'll leave you guys with this. So it's October. October is probably, to be fair and honest, it's my favorite time of the year. There's the NBA is starting. NHL is cranking up. College football is in full swing. The National Football League is in full swing. There's playoff baseball, the most important baseball. I mean, there's golf tournaments. This is the greatest sports month of all time. And the cherry on top is that my son's birthday was October 14th. He just turned 16. So this was the month that I became a boy dad. This is the greatest month in any calendar year is October. I love October.
Speaking of baseball, what did you think about Ohtani's performance in that Game 4 the other night?
Unreal.
That was unreal.
Absolutely unreal. This guy, first and foremost, y'all. Hopefully, y'all don't get in trouble for me saying this, but I've never met a 6'4" Asian before.
Nope. Nope.
So I just presume that it's either three of them in a suit, in a Dodger suit, or they built this guy in a lab. Because the other thing, forget being Asian. How many people do you know that can throw 95 miles an hour, or actually he cracks 100, and also hit a 450-foot home run? Like, one of those would be good enough.
That's it. Yeah.
I know, and then he's doing both.
This guy, and like we're seeing more and more of these marvels all around sports. But Shohei Ohtani is unreal.
He is.
And I know I want to think that there's going to be it's going to be a game and that Toronto is going to get dirty and really make something of this game. But I just think that the Dodgers may be too good.
I think too. I don't think I mentioned this. I think the Beans or somebody on where we work with.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been a three-peat in Major League Baseball, has there?
I don't think there is either.
Well, let's go to Google. Google will know better than me. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
The 3 World Series, let alone win them all.
And Dodgers could do that if they keep that staff together. They keep that roster together. I think we're going to win it this year.
I'm surprised they made it 2 times. I was like, what?
So I think.
I know the staff won't stay together. I don't know if you guys heard about the Clay calling it quits after this season.
Yeah, he's retiring. Yeah.
So and that'll be a big hit to him. But okay, so looking at three-peats, there have been two MLB teams that have three-peated. The New York Yankees in 36-39, 49-53, and then most recently they won three straight in 1998 to 2000.
Okay.
So that was the Jeter years.
Yeah.
And then the Moneyball Athletics, Oakland A's, won from 1972 to 1974. So three consecutive three-peats in the World Series. I can't imagine we would see that again. You know, egos play a big part. The amount of money that's spent.
Mm-hmm.
Look, that's what we're looking at. You know, with the Eagles, you saw with the Eagles, you wondered was it going to be a dynasty with the Eagles because they've got all their core locked up. But there's so many X factors, and then just to get to a championship, think about the Seattle Mariners, right? Who have been waiting for a pennant for so long. These guys had maybe one of the greatest seasons of baseball of all time with Cal Raleigh. It'll go down in history as at the top of the league. But the chance to do it again, the opportunity to do it again is so special and so unreal. I
look
don't
at
know.
the Braves. Look at the Braves from last year to this year.
Yeah, I mean, totally different team. Same players, completely different team.
Yep.
That's the unfortunate part about baseball is you can a well-placed 88 mile an hour fastball is just as good as a 106 mile an hour fastball.
It is, yeah, exactly. Greg Maddux showed all that stuff back in the 90s. Oh, he's too slow. He throws too slow.
But can you hit it?
Yeah, can you hit it? That's it.
You can. And speaking of the Braves and the Maddux and that staff, one of the best staffs ever. A lot of two or three of those guys at that staff would also come on the other side of the dish and knock one out of the park.
Yeah, they would. It was fun watching them.
And you know what? So man, I'm 40, and I just really kind of learned the nuance of the game maybe 10 years ago. I wish I was talking with I had a really cool couple guests a few days ago, and talking about their mentorship. And one of the ladies was saying that her favorite sport is baseball. And so we were talking about Aaron Judge. When Aaron Judge came out, my first thought was, if you're 6'8" and 280 pounds, why are you not a defensive end? Why are you hitting baseball
or basketball or something like that?
But then I saw him hit the baseball, and it all made sense. He hit it over to Manhattan.
That's it. He did.
But no, there's a gentleman-like nuance to baseball that I think we all need to be more aware of. Some of the things that baseball teaches you, it'll humble you. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it will. I played it. I played it growing up, and it's a different sport.
I fancy myself to be an athlete. I fancy myself to be a scholar as well. And I never felt less athletic and less dumb than when that curve, when I get ready to rear back and swing, and that ball just flies that way, and I quickly hit myself in the back of the head with the bat because I just knew it was the fastball coming and it was the slider. So, man, I mean to tell you, man, baseball really does have that kind of. It'll humble the greatest and it'll elevate the lowest. It's beautiful that way.
Yeah, it is.
It's a fun game, man. Yeah, definitely excited about that, and we'll see. Hopefully, I'm glad the season's nearing its end. I'm a Royals fan, and it's been a long ride for us. So,
I'm a Braves fan, but where I'm a Chiefs fan, I pull for the Royals, and I'm like, man, I hope they
get there.
There's right there again.
Yeah, we were on the cusp. Our pitching staff kind of came too late. And then our sticks died on us after our pitching got better.
See, that's the thing about that game, and even with softball as well. You have them hitting streaks, and then it don't seem like one player goes cold. It's the whole lineup at once. I mean, when they're all hot, and then you get they're cold, and it's
Well, so something interesting. I love to call baseball a individual sport, right? It's sometimes it feels like 9 guys that are all doing their own thing,
Yeah.
but there's something to the effect. We just talked about Jeter and that the run he had with the Yankees and the three-peat. There was, I don't think it's a coincidence that Mike Trout hasn't had the playoff experience that we would expect to see from a player of his caliber. Meanwhile, a guy like Judge, a guy like Jeter, some of those big names have found their way. Sometimes it's just doing little things and not trying to knock it out of the park, and instead just try to hit that single into the 4.5 hole and move that guy over. Or you take that out and move the guy around. Sometimes, being able to be efficient in the lineup is things we don't think about. We don't see. It's not in the highlights.
Yeah.
Right. It's not on ESPN and all
like
those.
Small ball putting that button down that nobody likes to do.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Those things, that's what gets your whole lineup hot. It frustrates the pitcher. There's a mental aspect to baseball.
Oh, there is.
That is so vital. And so that's what gets you get in that pitcher's head and you piss him off. And now he's trying to throw something he didn't want to throw, and he leaves a slider up on your guy. And that's I think the reason. I think that if we could go back and look in the annals of time, you'll see that maybe a Mike Trout didn't do something. And look, there's a locker room issue as well, right?
Yeah.
You got to be able. Shout out to my guy Tom over at Rain or Shine Sports. He's an Angels fan, and so we had an in-depth look at what's going on in the Angels organization, and it's sad to see because Mike Trout is so good.
He is, yes.
And you say, hey, he deserves to be in a place where he can be seen and shine, and that, like I said, the most meaningful baseball in playoffs. But he's not. I wonder, is he being the leader he's supposed to be? I wonder, is the organization doing what they're supposed to do? And according to Tom, I don't think it is. I don't think they're making the necessary moves to get those guys in. And sometimes it's not the name. Sometimes it's that grizzly old veteran that he may only play 80 games in the season, and he might only bat 240, but he'll do the dirty work every day. He'll show the young bucks how to do the dirty work.
Mm-hmm.
That you got to have completion and balance. I'm not a fan close enough to see it, but I've been wondering for probably 5 years now, what is Mike Trout not doing?
That's it. Yeah.
But and now that I look back at it, I wonder the same thing about Ken Griffey Jr. We never really got to see that same thing from him as well. But
No.
I definitely wonder, is it what they are doing that's causing him to not be able to get to that next level?
You mentioned Ken Griffey Jr., which I think he had one of the best swings in baseball.
Gorgeous.
And I think Ohtani's, what do you think about Ohtani's? It's kind of his swing. It's not like Griffey's, but it's like smooth. It's kind of smooth like Griffey's.
Again, I will reiterate this that Shohei Ohtani was created in the lab because and so part of the reason that Griffey's swing was so pretty is because he was left-handed.
Mm-hmm.
But of course Ohtani is right-handed, but again, smooth. It's not even like he's trying to hit it. And then there's no effort behind it. It's just relaxed and calm, and 450 feet later, he's he's trotting around, man. It really is something, man.
It is.
So I've been thinking about this because I need to know. Do you guys have a prediction for college football? Who you expect to be in the playoffs?
I've watched a little bit. I ain't got to watch like I should.
Sure.
I've been so busy. I watched a little bit of Ohio State. I think Ohio State's one of those.
Ohio State's in there. I think Texas, even though they've been having bad, but I think they'll be in there.
Texas is, I think, going to surprise some people because they're going to make the plays they need to make.
That's it. Yep.
I don't know that they're going to win a championship, but I think they'll get there. Everything's so wide open. And the only thing my only question for Ohio State is, will they be able to beat Michigan?
What about Indiana too?
Their defense is unreal.
Yeah. So I mean, they got Michigan, you got Indiana still. How's Indiana going to hold up? So I mean, there's some questions like you said right there with Michigan and Indiana right there.
So my good friend Mark Winston posed something, and I'll tell you guys, our show, the Fanatic Sports Talk podcast, came from me and Mark Winston going back and forth in our just our DMs talking about sports. And I said, man, we got to put this on air. And so he said,
that sounds so like us.
Yeah, right. That's how we got here. So he said something in our DMs the other day that really cracked me up. He said, isn't it ironic that all of a sudden when everyone's allowed to get paid to play football, the SEC's got one championship in the last 4 years? Is that irony?
I didn't think about that.
I know.
And more importantly, so I put this up as a while back. The top 10 NIL schools in the country, of those 10, I think there's Georgia, Alabama, and Texas. Those are the top 3 that came from the SEC. The rest are Big Ten schools.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so it's not a coincidence that that the Big Ten has so many good teams right now.
That's like I was telling Beans with West Virginia and the Mountaineers. That school cannot compete with those other schools when it comes to NIL.
Yeah.
So and Rich Rodriguez, he is known for taking 3-star caliber players and making them look like all-stars.
That's right.
The thing is, once that starts happening again, and he'll do it again, and by year 2 or 3, they're going to go leave for more money. I can get the money now, but it may not work in that system.
I was talking with a friend of mine. There's a young man from down here in Zachary, Louisiana, who he started off at like Nichols State, small school, or Southeast or something like that, Southeast Louisiana. Had a really good run his freshman year. Jumped in the portal, went to Kent State. Had 2 great years, led the nation in yards per catch. So he left after his junior year at Kent State and went to South Carolina and got buried. I think he finished with 200 yards and maybe 10 catches just simply because he's like a jitterbug. And so he was able to get, he was a gadget guy for Lenora Sellers and that South Carolina offense. But Beamer wasn't that fond of him. Even though they brought him in, he was still, three guys in front of him. But what college is teaching us right now is, or teaching these young guys is, hey, you're a business and you got to make business decisions. I've got 2 cousins who are journeying towards Division I football as we speak, and they're both my size. So bigger, as a matter of fact. The little brother is 6'7". Okay, so yeah,
wow.
Yeah, baby brother is 6'7" and 305, and big brother is 6'9", 220. And so yeah, we there's a little size in our family, and so they are working towards they're working towards Division I ball. And I told them, I said, hey man, you've got to think of yourself as a business. So to that end, look, simple things. Big bro had his mom told me, like, hey, I was worried about a couple things. I won't get into what he got in trouble for, but it wasn't big trouble, but it was, it's the trouble young boys tend to get into. And I said, hey, I know what you're thinking and I understand, but if you don't, I mean, you got to think about what people are seeing you as.
Mhm.
Not the good, wholesome young man that your mother and your grandmother raised you to be. But we're definitely it's a business. It's a business in college. It's a business in college, and that's the crazy thing about
brand. You're a brand. You got to keep in mind that you are always a brand.
Talking about that transfer portal and Neil and everything else. I don't know if when we was on back in August, I mentioned, we got a new head coach with Rich Rodriguez. You had players left. One of the local boys that was going to be our number one receiver left and went to Illinois, Hudson Clement. Okay. Which I didn't think this was a good move for him. Well, okay. Were they 7 games in?
7 games, yeah.
19 receptions, 183 yards is his stats. He would have had that in the first game at WVU.
So the question I had, and this is the reason why I brought up the young man from that went from Kent State to South Carolina, is that if he stays at Kent State, he's probably a 4th round pick because he got buried at South Carolina and took that NIL money. I want to say he ended up being a free agent, and he got picked up in Cleveland, and he made the roster in Cleveland because he's good enough.
Yep.
Especially for Cleveland, as bad as they've been. But I mean, the numbers he's putting up at Kent State, he's probably a 5th or 6th round pick, and he's making guaranteed money.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like you said, it's a business, your brand, and you got to make business decisions. And I'll tell you with great certainty, business decisions are not fun. They're not always fun. They're not always lucrative, but you got to foresee more than the $3 million there, or the $1 million or whatever they're offering you right now, and you got to think about what it's going to mean in the future. So
now I'll mention this. I was talking to a guy, one of my buddies, about this. With this Neil money, players are staying in college a year extra to get the money instead of going to NFL.
It's more money than you get in a rookie year.
Yeah, you do.
If you guys remember, a couple years ago, Caleb Williams threatened. He said if the wrong team gets the number 1 pick, he'll just stay at USC, and rightfully so.
Sure did.
Yeah,
going to college in the second largest media market in the country is lucrative, I would imagine. So, I would probably, I can't be mad. And this is the thing when it comes to NIL and the transfer portal, and I know it's chaotic and it's a mess at times. But for me, as a former player, I appreciate to see this mess. I'd rather it this way because it's been chaotic and it's been, a mess anyways. But at least some kids are getting that opportunity to make that money, man.
That's it. Yeah.
And you can't be mad about that. And look, Beans, I know we got to go, man. Y'all know I'll talk another 90 minutes if you let me. But look, so for everybody watching, man, big thank you to Vets Plus Sports, man. Y'all are always awesome, man, and I appreciate the support. You guys liking and sharing everything. So definitely make sure y'all follow them and support them. I know they've got more in store, and if I can facilitate it, man, I definitely do whatever I can. I definitely appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, my name's Blocka. I'm part of the Fanatic Sports Talk. We talk all sports pretty much all year round, and all of our socials are not too far. Actually, a lot of it's connected right now, my Instagram and my YouTube, and we're not hard to spot. So, but we definitely appreciate y'all having me on, and look forward to seeing y'all and working with y'all soon again, man. Thank y'all again.
We'll do it before the playoffs start in the NFL.
Yeah, that's great.
We'll go back on yours.
That'd be awesome. We'll lock that in, man. Well, thank y'all again. I'm actually about to go to overnight, so I'm gonna grab a nap before I go, man. But
all right,
appreciate y'all again.
All right, that sounds good.
Thanks.
All right, like we do at the end of each and every episode, if you're thinking about harming and hurting yourself, you got that quick number to call, 988. Dial 1, or that's the Veteran Crisis Line. It's 1-800-273-8255, 1-800-273-8255, or you can dial the 988 and dial 1. And if you dial the 800 number 1 as well, they'll get you to the resources that you need. Or if you're a veteran, go to your local VA medical center, go to the ER. Tell them you need to talk to someone, get some help. They'll have somebody on staff there to help you out. So this is a midweek extra
Nah,
episode.
special. So we did this versus the radio show.
So and it's always good talking to Block and getting him on here. It's fun. So y'all have a good night, and we'll see you Sunday night on our regular time.
Yep.
Have a
Stay
good one.
safe. It's taking forever to load up.